Wang Yibo Xiao Zhan, the story nobody expected to go viral. The message appeared at 2:13 in the morning. No warning. No explanation. No context. Just 7 words. They were never supposed to meet again. Within minutes, the screenshot was everywhere. Fans stared at their screens trying to understand what they were looking at. Some thought it was fake. Others believed it was an old rumor being recycled. But then another message appeared. And this one was even more disturbing. If the truth comes out, both of them will lose everything. That was the moment the internet exploded. Because the names attached to those messages were not ordinary names. Wang Yibo Xiao Zhan. 2 stars whose history together had already become one of the most discussed stories in Chinese entertainment. But what happened next was something nobody had expected. A story that began as a rumor suddenly transformed into a mystery. A mystery became a trending topic. And the trending topic became a digital wildfire. Nobody knew who had started it. Nobody knew who was behind the mysterious messages. And most importantly, nobody knew whether the 2 stars had anything to do with it. At first, Wang Yibo's name appeared on one side of the story. Xiao Zhan's appeared on the other. Then someone posted a photograph. It was blurry. The lighting was terrible. The faces were almost impossible to recognize. But there was something about the image that made millions of people stop scrolling. 2 silhouettes. Standing several meters apart. Apparently inside the same private building. The caption underneath simply read, "After all these years, they finally spoke." The internet went insane. Within an hour, thousands of comments appeared. Some people demanded proof. Others claimed they already knew what the photograph meant. And then, unexpectedly, the hashtag began climbing. First locally, then internationally, then everywhere. People who had never followed either celebrity were suddenly asking the same question. What really happened between Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan? But the strangest part wasn't the photograph. It was what happened afterward. The account that posted it disappeared. Not deleted. Not suspended. Just gone. And whoever had created the account left behind one final message. "You are looking at the wrong picture." That sentence changed everything. Because if the photograph wasn't the real story, then what was? The next morning, another image appeared. This time it was a screenshot of what appeared to be an unfinished message. There were only 3 visible lines. "I never blamed you. You know why I disappeared. We cannot let them know." The names of the people involved had been covered. But the internet didn't need the names. Within minutes, people were connecting dots that might not even have existed. Some believed the messages were connected to an old professional misunderstanding. Others imagined something much bigger. A secret meeting. A hidden agreement. A friendship that had survived behind closed doors. Or perhaps something neither man had ever intended the public to know. The speculation became uncontrollable. Every old photograph was examined. Every interview was replayed. Every pause, every glance, every sentence was analyzed as if it were evidence in a massive investigation. A 5-second moment from years earlier suddenly became proof. An old interview answer became a hidden confession. A simple smile became a coded message. The internet had transformed 2 celebrities into characters inside a mystery nobody could stop watching. And then came the video. It lasted only 11 seconds. 11 seconds. That's all. But those 11 seconds changed the entire conversation. The video showed a dark hallway. A person walked through. The frame. The face wasn't visible. At the end of the hallway, another person appeared. They stopped. Neither spoke. The video ended. The caption read, "This is why the story was buried." Millions watched it. Millions replayed it. And the most unbelievable part. Nobody could prove what they were actually seeing. Some people insisted the figures were Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan. Others said the footage was manipulated. Some claimed it was AI generated. Others argued that it was simply 2 unrelated people caught in the same corridor. But the uncertainty only made the story more powerful. Because the internet doesn't always need proof to create a phenomenon. Sometimes, it only needs a mystery. By the third day, the story had escaped the control of everyone involved. Fan accounts began posting theories. Entertainment channels began making videos. Comment sections turned into investigative forums. People started creating timelines. Screenshots were enlarged. Audio was cleaned. Frames were slowed down. Every detail became suspicious. And then someone noticed something hidden in the original photograph. A reflection, barely visible in the corner. At first, nobody understood it. But when the image was brightened, a small object could be seen on a table. A black envelope, with a white symbol printed across it. The symbol meant nothing to most people. But one account claimed it recognized it. According to the account, the symbol had appeared years earlier in connection with a private entertainment event. That claim was never independently proven. But it didn't matter. The theory had already taken off. Suddenly people weren't talking about two celebrities anymore. They were talking about a secret. A secret that supposedly connected people behind the scenes. A secret that, according to the fictional theory spreading online, had forced two people to keep their distance. And the more people searched, the more strange coincidences they found. Old event schedules. Deleted posts. Unexplained gaps. Photographs that disappeared from social media. Interviews where certain questions seemed to make the atmosphere uncomfortable. None of these things proved anything. But together, inside the imagination of millions of viewers, they became pieces of a puzzle. A puzzle nobody could solve. Then something happened that nobody expected. A new account appeared. Its username was simply The Last Witness. The account had no profile picture. No followers. No following list. No biography. Just one post. A black screen. And white text. You have been watching the wrong story. Then another line appeared. This was never about Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan fighting. The final line was even more cryptic. It was about what happened after they stopped talking. The internet froze. Because suddenly, the narrative changed. People had assumed the mystery was about conflict. But what if it wasn't? What if the two men had never actually been enemies? What if the distance everyone noticed was simply the result of circumstances neither of them controlled? What if there had been a conversation behind the scenes that nobody knew about? The fictional story began taking shape. According to the theory, there had once been a private conversation between the two stars. No cameras. No managers. No reporters. No fans. Just two people sitting in a quiet room after a long and exhausting period of public attention. They didn't talk about fame. They didn't talk about rumors. They didn't talk about social media. They talked about survival. One supposedly said, "One day, people will believe anything they see about us." The other answered, "Then maybe we should stop giving them something to believe." That conversation became the imagined turning point. Not because they hated each other, but because they understood the power of public attention. Every interaction could become a headline. Every photograph could become a theory. Every sentence could be twisted. And eventually, silence became safer than explanation. But in this fictional story, something went wrong. Someone had recorded part of that conversation. And years later, that recording resurfaced. At 4:46 a.m., the mysterious account uploaded an audio file. The file lasted 28 seconds. The sound was distorted. There was background noise. Two voices could supposedly be heard. One voice said, "You promised." Another answered, "I kept my promise." Then there was silence. Finally, then why are they still looking for it? The audio ended. That was enough. The internet exploded again. People wanted to know what it meant. What were they supposedly looking for? A document? A recording? A secret? A person? Nobody knew. And that uncertainty became the fuel. The story was no longer simply trending. It was becoming an obsession. People began searching for the original source. But the mysterious account gave them nothing. Instead, it posted a countdown. 72 hours. Then, 71 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Then, 71 hours 59 minutes and 58 seconds. The countdown had begun. Nobody knew what would happen when it reached 0. During the countdown, dozens of fake leaks appeared. Some were obviously fabricated. Others were so convincing that people began arguing about their authenticity. One fictional document allegedly contained a list of names. Another supposedly revealed that a private meeting had taken place. A third claimed someone had been paid to suppress a story. None of these claims had reliable evidence. But the story continued growing. And then the countdown reached 12 hours. The mysterious account posted again. This time, there was no photograph. No audio. No document. Only a sentence. Tomorrow, everyone will understand why silence was necessary. That sentence became the biggest clue yet. Because suddenly people started wondering. Maybe the silence wasn't accidental. Maybe it had been deliberate. Maybe the people involved had chosen not to explain themselves because explaining everything would expose someone else. And if that were true, who were they protecting? The next fictional twist came from an unexpected place. A supposedly forgotten notebook. According to the story, the notebook had belonged to a fictional production assistant who had worked around the entertainment industry years earlier. Inside were scattered notes. Most were meaningless. Meeting times. Locations. Production reminders. Names. But on one page, there was a handwritten sentence. Y and X know the truth. Below it was a date. Then the page was torn. The identity of Y and X was never explained. But fans immediately connected the letters to Wang Yibo Xiao Zhan. The theory spread faster than anyone could control. Yet there was a problem. The notebook was fictional. The entire story was fictional. And that's exactly why the mystery became so fascinating. It wasn't being presented as confirmed reality. It was being consumed as a dramatic story. A what if? A fictional thriller built around fame, secrecy, friendship, misunderstanding, and the terrifying power of public speculation. And within that fictional universe, the truth was becoming darker. The story continued. The two stars supposedly received the same anonymous message. You have 24 hours. Neither knew who had sent it. Neither knew what would happen next. But both understood one thing. Someone knew about the conversation. Someone knew about the missing recording. And someone wanted them to believe they were being watched. One of them wanted to go public. The other refused. Their disagreement became intense. You cannot keep running. I'm not running. Then what are you doing? Protecting everyone. From what? Silence. Then the answer. From the truth. That sentence became the emotional center of the fictional story. Because the truth wasn't necessarily something criminal. Sometimes truth is simply something powerful enough to destroy the fragile balance around it. And in this fictional universe, the secret wasn't about scandal. It was about trust. Two people had trusted the wrong person. A private conversation had been recorded. Someone had kept it. And years later, someone else had found it. The countdown reached 0. Nothing happened. No document. No video. No revelation. For 10 minutes, the internet waited. Then the account posted. Thank you for watching. That was it. The account disappeared. People were furious. Others laughed. Some claimed it had all been a publicity stunt. But then, a final file appeared. A folder containing one photograph. One audio clip. And one sentence. The ending begins where the friendship was supposed to end. The photograph showed two empty chairs. One had a black jacket hanging over it. The other was completely empty. There was a table between them. On the table was the same black envelope from the first photograph. This time, however, it was open. Inside was a single piece of paper. The words were impossible.